I just wanted to make this video to share a simple story, and I shouldn't be embarrassed about how happy I am that this happened, but for the first time in 2 years, I was finally able to lift and touch 315 again for the deadlift, 315 pounds. And it might be a simple goal, and it might be lightweight to some, but to me, it was really important that I was able to finally reach it again. Why? Because, not because it's some big goal or whatever, but it's always been a simple goal that I've had that I've just not worked hard on so much on achieving. It might be that at one point results were slow, at one point I may have failed, at one point I may have gotten weaker. So kind of messes up with my mind, or I don't know. Also, the fact that life happens and you get distracted, you get busy. So it's really no problem that I wasn't able to achieve it right away or maintain it. Because after I hit that 315 once with a belt on, I was never really able to hit it again. And I even got weaker and weaker from then. And it was okay because what I've always known was that progress isn't linear, but you're always getting better. You're always better than another time before. So what I mean by that is progress isn't linear like this, but it can be like this. You're here now, and then you progress a bit, and then something happens, so you go back down, and then you progress more, and then you go back down, and then you progress more, and then you go back down. So you may have gone down here, but you're like way much better than you were here. So it's no problem. Progress isn't linear. Life happens. And that's my biggest motto recently is that, life happens. So fucking be patient. Take your time. Enjoy everything again. I've tried to make so much changes for myself that I kind of got lost along the way. You kind of, it's super counterproductive because you kind of rush, but not even rush, but you kind of expect things to come fast. So when they don't, and they never do, you get fucked up. You feel like, come on, dude, like what is this? It's not working anymore. Um, Maybe it's not worth it. So you kind of slow down your pace a bit. You kind of pull back. But what I've always been is, and it might be a flaw, is a slave to the process. And part of the process is trusting in it. And what it really means when people say to trust the process is that people know what they have to do in order to get what they want. But it's just that people never really do what they have to do. Or people come up with a lot of excuses not to do what they have to do. They can always come up with an excuse. I can always come up with an excuse. And recently, as expected, I feel like, but I feel like I'm also overthinking it. I'm also putting too much pressure on myself. But I feel like I've failed. If I look back to the reasons as to why, you can't really blame anyone, dude. Life happens. You get busy. You get distracted. Come on. But the whole point of this video is not to show off the lift that I made. It's to express how happy I am about what happened and why I think state, mindset, being positive is everything. So, I'd like to share how I think this thing happened. It might be embarrassing, but I'm gonna share one selfie video. And what a selfie video is just videos I make for myself instead of as reminders, instead of making notes or writing them down. I do those too, but the difference with these videos is that it's as if you're looking at yourself speaking and you're looking at someone else talk, and that person speaking believes in what he says. Because sometimes when I just for me, man, I experience a lot of division between my mind, myself, and the reality around me. But it's not a problem because I know the goal. I know that the goal is to align everything, align your beliefs with your physical actions, and then your physical reality will follow. But sometimes you forget this. So, the way to live life and attract goodness is to believe that you are worthy of feeling good and being happy. Because sometimes you get into the state of feeling good, but then you are afraid of not being able to sustain it. Why? Because the way that you know yourself is that you always just fall back into the trap of being in a negative state. So, and you've been doing it for a while, huh? Like, a year, dude. It's funny. It's fucking funny. But look at you. You're all here saying all these shit. Like, people don't even realize these stuff. So you're good, man. You just have to take care of yourself, you know? Take care of yourself, not to get down, you know? Not to fucking get down, bro. Like, keep it coming, dude. Take it slow. Be happy, man. Be happy. That's it, dude. Be fucking happy. I just wanted to share this with you guys. And because lately, I've had a big problem expressing myself on social media just because just because of that very reason, you know, that I feel like the shit that I actually believe in and the shit that I actually think and the shit that I actually say, I feel like someone can just go right at me and say, dude, do you really believe that shit? Do you really believe that shit that you say? Because why don't you act like it? But that's only because, you know, I'm learning along the way. That's why recently, if ever I express myself anywhere, it's all about being, you know, lost in this whole thing. And we are lost, you know. Everyone's just trying to find their own way. And now that you realize that, you know, everyone is just trying to find their own way, you get to not treat yourself as special. You get to see your struggle as the same as everyone's struggle. And you get to share it. You get to be open about it. You get to be vulnerable and express yourself and try to connect, make the attempt to connect, and hope that it will land to someone of whom it will be of value to. Is that right? Did I say that right? But my approach in social media is that the things that I learn in my life, social media can be the avenue where I can give the value that I feel that I have or can give to people without asking for anything in return. It's just my expression of my beliefs that I want to strengthen and want to pass it on to people so I don't feel alone, and those who do feel alone as well can begin to not feel alone also. This video is going to be called touching on a bunch of different topics, why mindset, state, and frame is important, but it all revolves around one story that happened today. But the reason why I'm going to call it that is because that's just the way how my analytical mind works. Is it has to go and explore a bunch of different factors first before it comes to a sound conclusion. To those who would like to sit down and partake in this rambling or partake in this discourse. It's also weird because my motto has always been to simplify things, and maybe that's also why, because sometimes my mind has to go through a very complex process and it gets too complicated already that you kind of have to really reduce it to lowest terms. And I think the way that people learn how to simplify things and be confident about it is that sometimes they really have to go through that process, and every time that they learn to pick back up from it and simplify and move on and act and work, it becomes a lesson learned. So then every time you're able to do so, life happens again, and then you become distracted again or lost or whatever. You begin to feel that that cycle is okay because every time your simplification process is just getting better and better, and you're able to work with peace and patience all the more. And what I mean when I say that everyone is lost is that everyone is just stuck here. Like, we're propelled into this life. We just wake up every day living, and we're confused, like, why is this happening? Why am I me? Like, why is there time? Like, why is there something other than nothing, right? Like, who am I? What is this life? What is all this for if we're all just gonna die one day? And that's also the lesson, because if you just realize that we're all gonna die one day, and that maybe none of this matters, is that one, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your life. It's up to you, right? So that only means that every time you waste not doing anything about your dreams or your goals or what you would like to do, then you have no excuse, because what is time, diba? Right? Like, what is this time that you are delaying or passing off, or it's gonna pass anyway. You know, you're just gonna wake up again and be the same you, and be alive and living and experiencing all of this, and you're still gonna be you. So, you know, like, why wait? Or like, why sleep on it? You know, why escape? Why take a break?